Anthony on Air Podcast back for another episode. Frankie C is here, and we have a ton to cover. Everything from Ghislaine Maxwell to Jerry Falwell Jr. to the Melania Trump tapes. And we're going to talk about it all right here. Frankie C back in the mix, as I said. Good to see you, my man.
Good to be here.
We denied his request to move into general population, and Ghislaine Maxwell's request to move into general population also denied. So that's
I'm not ready. I'm just not ready to be in general population.
You're not.
Keep me home. Keep me home. Who the hell wants to go out in the population?
We can't have you mixed with people. That would be awful. So the judge in the U.S. District Court, Judge Allison Nathan, noted that the Bureau of Prisons has allowed Maxwell to access materials 13 hours a day, 7 days a week, as we've said in the past, so she can, properly defend herself. That's why she was claiming she needed to move into Gen Pop. They opened things up for her, so 13 hours a day, 7 days a week, she can, have access to materials. That
seems like enough time.
That's plenty of time. And what I found interesting, though, is even though she's not on suicide watch anymore, the judge rejected Maxwell's request to modify the prison surveillance, which she claimed involved being secretly watched by prison psychologists for several hours every day. In denying that request, the judge said that Maxwell has provided the court with no evidence and no reason to believe that the surveillance measures are motivated by improper purposes. So I guess even though she's not on suicide watch, I guess she's still being watched?
I mean, you'd think after what happened with Epstein, yeah, they'd have to watch her.
You got to keep an eye on her to some degree, How
could there not be a camera on her almost at all times?
Yeah, for real. Chris Mason is also back in the news. That's Ghislaine Maxwell's friend, Chris Mason there. Now, I can't tell if he is just super creepy looking or if everybody next to Ghislaine Maxwell is creepy looking. I don't know, Frank.
The bow tie is not helping. I'm not against bow ties, but that it's a little weird with that suit.
So he's back in the news today. He did an interview. This is in the Post that he claims, this is Chris Mason is claiming that Ghislaine Maxwell is fiercely loyal to Prince Andrew and will not snitch on him.
Well, what's there to snitch about?
Mason told The Sun, even though I'm reading this in the Post, Mason told The Sun that the British socialite would never betray Andrew. We obviously know all his accusations. Prince Andrew and Ghislaine were always... Go ahead.
If Andrew didn't do anything, Prince Andrew didn't do anything, he would have said, well, there's nothing to flip about. What are you talking about? Prince Andrew, why would she flip if there's no information? Yeah. Instead, she's not going to give him up.
Well, it's weird. I don't know. It's funny. We talked about Chris Mason the last time because he was the one who tipped the story about Paris Hilton, and we'll put that link in the description on YouTube if you guys are watching on Facebook or you're watching on or you're listening on the podcast networks. I think he know. I don't think that he's a denier. I think he knows bad stuff went on. I think he knows Ghislaine, but from what I'm getting from all this, he wasn't super close to her, or maybe not super close for a long time. What's weird
what are
is
talking about?
What I mean is like he's not being implicated at all of like being involved, or maybe he did something like. There's been no talk about that. I guess he just kind of knew her, and
so then how would he know of any wrongdoing?
I think he just, like everybody else, is assuming that where there's smoke, there's fire. I think he's just like us, where it's like, hey, there's the pictures.
The only connection is that he knows her.
Yeah, he's not defending Ghislaine. I think he's just saying she's not going to give up Andrew. Like she'll go down with the ship to protect Andrew. That's what he says. Here's the quote: Prince Andrew and Ghislaine were fiercely loyal to each other, and she wouldn't give him up. I think she'll have his back and will protect him to the last.
All right.
Yeah, she's obviously defending herself. You would think that she would just want to come clean and spill all the guts and let it all kind of come out, but
I don't know. Who knows how that would affect her?
Yeah, I guess
these pixels in my kitchen again.
I guess that's what she's really, Mason also said,
sucks, by the way.
That's okay. Mason also said that Epstein is supremely ambitious and was never a cocktail party guy. He was only interested in hanging out with powerful people. This is all the latest from Chris Mason from The Sun. So there's the update on Ghislaine Maxwell and the Epstein thing. We will have an interview on Monday's episode. Monday's episode is going to be a little bit of a different episode. We're going to do an interview with an author who wrote a book on this whole entire topic. He's very knowledgeable on Maxwell and Epstein and everything. His book is like one of the go-to books in this arena. So we're gonna get him on the podcast on Monday. We'll have him. So that'll be a good interview to check out or listen to or whatever. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, we haven't done an interview in a while, but this should be a pretty good one. Dylan Howard is his name, so we'll have Dylan Howard in here. We'll talk about Dylan Howard. Yeah, he wrote Epstein, Dead Men Tell No Tale. So we'll chat with Dylan Howard on Monday. Should be good.
Good title.
Let's talk about Jerry Falwell Jr. This story erupted yesterday and is completely insane. Jerry Falwell Jr. is the Liberty University president. Well, actually, he resigned yesterday. And the way this story unfolded is quite interesting. So a photo of him and a young woman, both with their pants open, sort of hit the web the other day, and people were like, what's going on here? So Jerry Falwell Jr., if you don't know, super ultra conservative guy, religious dude, like all the way. He was the guy who helped deliver the super ultra religious conservative vote for Donald Trump. He endorsed Donald Trump towards the end. It's a key endorsement. Donald Trump, obviously being a liberal Democrat all his life, would have being divorced and a bit of a ladies' man or womanizer or however you want to describe him. Yeah. I'm not going to argue with anybody.
I wouldn't describe him as ladies' man.
Yeah, whatever. He's got allegations against him. However you want to describe the man is okay with me. I'll let everybody have that fight outside of me. I want no interest in that. But obviously he was not. He was doing awful with conservatives, especially religious ones, especially all his divorces and everything. When Falwell came in and gave the endorsement, that was huge for his election and getting elected. This is undisputed. This is exactly what happened. So now fast forward to yesterday, and we get this whole entire story of this young man, Giancarlo Granda. Giancarlo Granda was 20 years old when he met Jerry Falwell Jr. and his wife. There's the young man right there, obviously handsome, good-looking young man. And the story that we get that broke yesterday that was just massive, and I'll give you all the dirty details on this, was that Granda is claiming that he was in a long-term relationship with Jerry Falwell Jr. and his wife, Becky, #cuck, in which Granda and Becky had relations while Falwell Jr. looked on. Now, how long have you been a cuckold for, Frank?
Not that long.
Not that long? Could you, and I don't want to make, I'm not going to make anybody feel bad for their kink, because if this is your kink, then
hey, that's how you get down. Yeah. Go for it. But,
whatever works. Whatever.
Nobody's getting hurt.
Whatever works, as long as nobody's getting hurt and there's consenting adults in the room. I can't imagine something I'd like to participate in less than sitting in the corner of the room while some dude gets down with my wife.
Yeah, that's definitely not on the list.
I don't
not
even
a cool way to do it.
I don't even know. Ever since I heard this story, now I've been aware of cuckolds before. Like I've heard the story, I've heard about it. I'll be honest with you. I kind of thought for the most part it was like just one of those like porn categories that don't really exist but exist in the fantasy ether. It's
if you're cheated on, you're right. If you're married and you're cheated on, you're a cuckold.
Well, they call you a cuckold. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this ultra conservative fella.
Which, by the way, I also learned from Andy from The Office. I believe this is the first place that I've heard of but in I shouldn't say in real life, but there is a cuckold that exists that it's like they enjoy that, like that's their thing.
Yeah. Hey, and which is do your thing, but to claim that you're ultra conservative and all these values and all that stuff, and then I'm sorry, but how many? I'm not. I don't. You're poking a bear here.
No,
I'm.
this is
There's stuff under the lid that I want to but I don't want to get too political.
Don't hold back, but let me get through all these details here. So Falwell Jr. He refuted the claim, and he actually blamed it on his wife. He said no, she fell for him and had a relationship with him. He basically threw his wife under the bus, saying it wasn't me. She cheated on me.
Good fella there.
Yeah, real character move. He said that he had neglected his wife and kids because he was so immersed in Liberty University and making sure it was a success. That's probably what caused Becky's mistake, he told NPR. He also said that Granda became obsessive and that the situation turned into a fatal attraction and that Granda threatened to expose the affair. Falwell Jr. claimed that the threat triggered an emotional roller coaster for his family ahead of his resignation from the high-profile Collegiate Post. He also claimed there was suffering in silence while simultaneously trying to manage and deal with his increasingly threatening behavior, which only worsened over time. The Falwells met Granda when he was 20 years old and working as a pool attendant at the Fontainebleau Miami Beach Hotel in March of 2012.
I don't know, but what's his name again?
Giancarlo Granda.
That sounds like it's like porn name or stripper name or something.
Stripper name, forget that. This sounds like a Lifetime movie. Conservative Christian couple goes to the Fontainebleau in Miami, falls for pool boy named Giancarlo.
The pool boy, come on. The only other way it's not a cliche. I mean, the only worst cliche is if he delivered pizzas.
That is the only thing that beats this by a sliver. You are 1,000% correct. You are totally correct. On Tuesday,
ridiculous predicament. Go ahead.
On Tuesday, Falwell confirmed that he resigned from his post. Giancarlo said, Becky and I developed an intimate relationship, and Jerry enjoyed watching from the corner of the room multiple times per year. He said they took place in hotels in Miami and New York and at the Falwell's home in Virginia. The Lynchburg.
So what is this photo, and what does that prove?
The photo isn't damning. It's just him and some young woman with their pants open and their guts sticking out. It's not damning, but it's like it's out of character for the conservative, for the Falwells. Like it's out of character. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
and do we know who that woman is in the photo?
I don't think we do, and it didn't really go anywhere, but it was like, in an earthquake, before the big earthquake, how there's like that little tremor, and you're like, oh, that's basically what that was.
So how did this photo lead to the Giancarlo thing?
So it became a leak, which we later found out today Michael Cohen is involved. It's like a movie.
Remember him?
They all know each other. Michael Cohen claims today that he blocked these photos from coming out in 2015. That's what he's saying. So now Michael Cohen is involved. He says that he worked in 2015 to get these photos blocked, I guess successfully, since they never really came out. And he said that Giancarlo Granda wasn't involved in any of the negotiations to not have the photos come out. So I guess there's a few people that have these photos. But here's the best part.
Yeah, but Giancarlo has nothing to do with these photos. It's a whole different story, isn't it?
Well, I guess there's
The photos and the Giancarlo thing, I feel like, are two different things.
Well, he might have photos of his dealings with all of them.
I see.
Yeah. So there's that whole thing. But the damning thing about all of this is there is a recorded phone call. So
Hi-oh.
we have a recorded phone call. I'm going to play it for you here, and it's courtesy of Reuters.
Before you play it,
Go ahead.
I'm picturing, if you've ever seen the movie Liar Liar.
Yes.
When she's on the stand and they play the recording.
Yeah.
Anybody else picturing that? Because that's what I'm about to hear, I think.
It's not that graphic, but basically what you're going to hear in this phone call is Becky and Jerry are on one end. Giancarlo is on the other end. I think it's a FaceTime conversation, actually. Giancarlo was recording this, and what they're talking about is Giancarlo, I guess, is telling them about women that he's with, the relationships that he's having, or, you know, he's trying to date, whatever. And you just listen to her reaction to it. She is obviously jealous. She's obviously pretending that she's not jealous.
And if there's nothing going on here, that's a little TMI for your local pool boy.
Right. Jerry chimes in at one point and says, "Come on, you're going to make her jealous," which like is obviously, that's something that like this phone call confirms everything that this happened. Jerry was involved. Let's hear it. He knew. Here's the call. Here's the phone call.
John's been very busy lately.
Yeah. A little loud.
His new thing is like telling me every time he hooks up with people, like I don't have feelings or something.
She'll make us jealous.
Yeah.
So that was it right there. So she says he keeps telling me every time he hooks up with people, he's gonna make, you know, he's like I don't have feelings or something. And Jerry chimes in and says, "You're gonna make her jealous." By the way, we'll link this in the description on YouTube. So again, for the Facebook watchers and the podcasters, go to our YouTube channel to get the link to this so you can hear it for yourself. And they continue.
I'm not trying to do that.
Like a week ago, I was in tears for a whole freaking day. It's like, I hooked up with this girl at dinner, and then I got her an Uber, and I'm like, just completely depressed.
It's hard to hear. It's very loud.
So she says, she's telling the story of like him saying, "I hooked up with this girl, Jenna," and she says she's in tears for a whole week, you know, over the whole thing. And it's just, I mean, it's basically everything that can go wrong in a three-way relationship that could possibly go wrong is like playing out in this phone call. And it's obvious that, you know, by the time, I don't know when this phone call took place, but obviously this relationship has slowed or deteriorated or whatever. He's trying to move on from it or whatever the scenario is. I don't know. And he's trying to it feels like he's trying to put distance. Like, you know, you ever break up with a girl and you've been broken up for a long time and like 6 months go by and like 7 months go by and it's like, okay, it's time to start telling this person who has no shot of being in my life anymore that I'm moving on and I'm with other people. And, you know, that stuff occurs and they're like, "Oh, you're killing me here." Yep. Like I'm killing you. Like, no, I'm moving on.
I'm moving on with my life.
Yeah. I'm moving on and you're still all hung up on it, but you're pretending like you're not, you know? Only in this scenario, you're married.
So
you're married to an ultra conservative religious dude with children.
So what I was going to say before that, you know, I know people in the comments or whoever are going to be like, "Oh, this guy, whatever." He doesn't. It's a slightly political comment.
Go ahead.
But I'm not shocked that someone who endorses Donald Trump is a bit of a fraud. That's all I'm going to say. I don't mean conservatives. I don't mean the whole party. I mean a big name that knows the man, that knows Donald Trump and has interacted with him and is a close friend, I guess. But probably, I think in the next few days, we'll hear Donald Trump go, "Oh, I've never heard of this guy. I know nothing about him. I don't know what you're talking about. Who is this Jerry's what?"
I don't think that he needs to distance himself from Falwell. I don't think it's...
No, but he's going to be asked about it, and he's going to have to do some tap dancing, probably.
See, what I was going to say, you know, Frank leans a little bit more towards one side than I do. I'm fiercely independent when it comes to my politics. But what I was going to say is, and this
I
is...
used to be.
Right.
I used to be. 4 years ago, I was kind of independent.
This is one of the reasons why I'm an independent. It's because my feelings on this is this time, this guy just so happened to be conservative. Next time, it could easily be a left-leaning liberal person that does this. My point is that you can't trust any of these people, and they're all full of crap. Every last one of them has something to hide. And by the way, I'm not talking about, like, I'm talking about across the board. A lot of the times, people that are in these positions that act way holier than thou, turns out you got a lot of skeletons in that closet that you're overcompensating for.
And I'm not judging the action. You do what you want with your wife and any consenting adult. I get it, but claiming to be ultra conservative and ultra religious and all that stuff, it's the hypocrisy that gets me.
Yeah, it's a hypocrisy. Like the last time, like I remember, I tell this example all the time, but remember Elliot Spitzer? I don't remember if he was a Democrat or a Republican, but Elliot Spitzer was this guy who came down on everybody. He was like, and he cracked down on radio. He cracked down on radio giveaways, and I was working in radio at the time in the promotions department, and I used to have to fill out paperwork like seven triplicates. Like it was ridiculous.
That's 21 pieces of paper.
Just to give out a pair of tickets or something. Like he made my job so insanely hard. Guy gets elected governor. Turns out he was part of one of the biggest like hooker rings in New York in the history.
It's unbelievable.
And I was like,
yeah, and when it comes to politicians, to be fair, I lean one side, but that's my own personal thing. But to be fair, they're all kind of full of crap.
I think this has very little to do with the fact that has anything to do with Donald Trump. But that's your feelings, and that's fine with me.
That probably has nothing to do with Donald Trump, I'm sure. But it was just a comment. It was an editorial comment of mine.
I just think that like we talked about, you get these people at these certain levels, and they want to preach and tell you how to live your life, and not just religiously, but sometimes in other ways.
No, anybody, yeah, exactly.
And it turns out, and then they're all full of crap. That's why these last couple of days.
Do what I say, not what I do.
Yeah, these last couple of days have been so brutal because I've fiercely ignored the Democratic National Convention, and now I'm in the midst of fiercely ignoring the Republican National Convention, and I just see people on both sides arguing, and it's like, it doesn't matter, and none of these people care about you. They don't, because they go out and say...
No, they don't, but it matters. It's not like it doesn't matter.
They say one thing, and then, like, just like this guy, they say one thing, and then what are they really doing? Something.
The point is, who's less full of shit? That's what you have to figure out on your own. That's what you have to decide for yourself. Which side is less full of shit?
And everybody, I think, has to vote for whoever's best for them in their own personal situation, which is all completely different. But, it's that I'm a genuine guy. You're a genuine guy too. Janine's genuine. She's out. She's in rehab today, by the way. That's why she's not finally getting help for her.
Yeah, so you'll see less weird movements and facial things in the next video with Janine.
That's why she's not here. She's not. She's just on vacation.
No.
You could almost tell. Like I just don't think that these people, like this idea of what Falwell was trying to project himself to be, I don't think that person really truly exists. Now,
I mean, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody screws up, and you don't even have to call this a screw up. It's just a hypocritical. That's all.
Yeah. Wait, but before you don't get too far ahead of yourself there, bud, because I was thinking the same thing.
Here we go. Wait a minute. There's more. But wait, there's more.
If you call now, we will double the creepiness.
We'll throw in photos of Jerry's farm. Yeah.
So, this story, so the Reuters story was yesterday, and it got taken a step further today, where Giancarlo Granda is calling Falwell Jr. a predator, claiming that Falwell Jr. showed him photos of a student at the university. Yeah, that's what he's saying. Now, my guess is that Falwell is sticking to this. He was, he's trying to blackmail us for money. I mean, I guess that's going to be his side of it all. I don't really, I don't know if he's spoken a whole ton since he resigned late yesterday afternoon.
Yeah. I hope it's not true. If it's true, he's an asshole and a piece of shit. But if it's, I hope for the sake of everybody involved that it is not true and there is no student that is involved in this.
Yeah.
Holy crap! Come on, it's just you keep digging, man, and just shit just keeps getting worse.
It usually almost always does.
You never dig deep, and it's like, well, Giancarlo was, and so they were partners at a soup kitchen, because they did something charitable. They never dig and find something good.
Yeah, so this was going back to before. This was the first photo that came out, right? It's not damning.
Yeah, that's just your guts out. I get it. But they're trying to be weird.
But his pants are open and her pants are open. Now, this is for a college student. This is an average photo on like a Thursday afternoon. But for Jerry Falwell Jr., it's a different. Because
I could have done without the fly being down.
Yeah, but not even my own opinion. I'm just saying, like, if you go and look at his Instagram wall, you're going to see a lot of photos of a family-friendly, super ultra-conservative religious guy. And then this picture, it's going to stand out. That's not my opinion. I'm just saying this is what...
So he posted that?
Yeah, he posted that. And I think he posted it, quickly deleted it, later explained that the post was meant as a joke and the woman was his wife's pregnant assistant. But when you look at his
like
eyes,
a pregnancy belly type of shot.
But if you look at his eyes and the fact that he's probably drinking alcohol, which was alluded to as well after the fact.
Oh, you don't know.
No, you don't know, and it's not like he can't have a cocktail. But again, these are not damning things for anybody else. But when you are the ultra super conservative guy, who
you don't pull your fly down in front of other weird, in front of students. Is that a student they're saying?
No, that was his wife's assistant.
Oh, okay, wife's assistant.
But here's the thing: he puts the photo out, he takes it down. Things start to leak out about this girl. He blames his wife. You know what I'm saying? Then the story gets out. Then he resigns. His he hasn't been honest and forthcoming in any of this. Enough to say that he's obviously, he's probably done a lot of things that go against what, he stood for all these years. Again, things that are not morally wrong. If you want to share your wife, it ain't my thing. I'm actually, I put it right up there with the Rubik's Cube of things that I will never fully understand. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I can't fathom.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to make anybody feel bad. If that's your thing, great. But I cannot fathom that being somebody's.
That's not your thing. That's what it is. I mean, if that's his thing, great. Good for them. They're both consenting adults. All three of them are wonderful. More power to you. Have a great time. But, if it stops there, great. If there's more to this and it's that weird photo stuff with the student, but if that's terrible. But if it's just this photo with his belly out and the threesome thing, it's not a huge deal, I don't think.
No, but again, it's awfully
it's
hypocritical.
a huge deal for his image.
Yeah, it's awfully hypocritical. And how could you trust
it is
anything else this guy says or stands for or preaches, when right. He's sitting there with all this stuff, all this baggage.
It would be like, the only thing worse would be.
Wait, say that again. The only thing worse, what?
On his watch.
Hold on, the government's trying to silence Frank. Go ahead.
Here they come. They're pixelating me now. I said the only thing that might be worse is if he cheated on his wife, who had just gave birth to his son, with, if he cheated on her with a porn star. That would be the only thing that would be.
Are you trying to deflect all the Janine comments onto yourself? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yes, I am. I'm going to start making this. This is my version of making weird faces. It's the pixelation. This is kind of freaking me out, though.
So Giancarlo Granda pushed back on allegations that he was blackmailing the couple. Okay, the plot twisted. Giancarlo Granda called the former Liberty University president a predator and claimed that Falwell Jr. sent the now 29-year-old a picture of a student exposing herself and had participated in three-way video calls earlier this year.
See, now that
Giancarlo
not good.
Says the Falwells would have you believe that I seduced Becky into an affair without Jerry's knowledge and spent the intervening 7 years trying to extort them. Of course, the truth is they approached me. She invited me into their hotel room. And Falwell Jr. is not returning any calls or has not commented on this since it all kind of broke out.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, if that's all true, I mean, now there's no proof of any of this. It's all he said. It's not like... what kind of proof could they get from this? As
this story came out yesterday or Monday, whenever it came out, I think I kept saying yesterday, I think it was Monday. As the story came out, we got more and more information, and then we got that phone call. That wasn't part of the original thing, and then it was like,
Yeah, the phone call is pretty damning.
The phone call is very damning, and if he's got the phone call, I'm sure he's probably got some other things too. And if Michael Cohen, even though a lot of people will say he's a big lying piece of garbage, if he knew that there was something up and he stopped photos from coming out in 2015, those photos and things still exist. Again, just because we don't have it today doesn't mean that we're never going to have it. We've got to wrap.
Never ends. Every freaking day, though. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We've got to wrap things up here. But the last thing, the Melania tapes. So here's what's happening with this. The other day, people are like, what was it? His niece, Trump's niece, wrote some book, and everybody was like, that book sucks. Don't listen to that book. Okay, fine. Then it was like, well, there's tapes of his sister calling him a liar. Whenever these things come out about the president, I'm much more reserved, I think, probably much more than Frank, and much more than a lot of other people. And okay, let me see. And a lot of the times, like it's been the end of this guy's presidency since the day he got elected, and it's like it's exhausting at this point.
There's no bottom for it. Doesn't, no matter what comes out.
I'm just saying that
this is it.
The left and the media and some parts of the media, they will have you think that this is here it is, and then it never is. So with that in mind, I go, okay. And then I listened to the sister. I listened to the tape. I'm not going to play it for you, but she legitimately said he's a liar. She was like, he's lying. He's making up all these things. And people are going for it. Yeah.
Whole thing.
But I think that everybody kind of knew that about him anyway. I mean, the guy was a Democrat. And all of a sudden he became a Republican and he's doing all the, I mean, he
when it was convenient for him. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like we kind of knew that part of it. And what politician isn't going, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And he knows full well he's not going to do it. So that's kind of par for the course. So that tape really did exist. But supposedly now, this is according to reporter Yashir Ali. She cited unnamed sources. And this is what drives me crazy. It's never you actually get what it is. It's always somebody else says that they are reporting that other people are saying that this. And it's like, well, there's like 7 layers here now. So let me know if
this is only the reporter and their source. It's not too many layers.
So Yashir Ali is citing unnamed sources and reporting that Stephanie Winston Wolkoff, a former friend and advisor, taped the First Lady and plans to release the tape. Here's the suspect parts of this. She's releasing the tape along with her book, right? So obviously
Okay.
she's trying to sell some books here.
Grain of salt with that one.
Yeah. So that's why I think it could be not true. Again, the 7 layers is why I think it could be not true, or they're hyping it up to be way worse than it is. The reasons why I think it might actually be true is she was a former friend and advisor. They had a big falling out from what I understand. And she would obviously have an axe to grind by releasing these tapes. And also that the Mary Trump tapes turned out to be true as well. So we'll wait and see. But I just wanted to bring this to the podcast because it's going to be something that we look for, because supposedly in the tapes, Melania is trashing not only Donald Trump, but Ivanka too.
So is this while she's first lady?
While she's first lady, which makes me like, it honestly makes me feel like, and this is not a slam, but this is just my feeling, like being in this organization might be the worst thing in the world from a standpoint of like, it's family, and family business can get awfully nasty where people are stabbing each other in the back and trying to get one over on this one. And this feels like Dallas. Like, I know that was a TV show, and
yeah, no, but you're right. It's family. And not only that, you're doing business. Not only that, you're in government. So it's a 3-shot whammy. You know, everybody's going to be at each other's throats.
Yeah.
And you couldn't write a better reality show. It's the White House. It's one of the most famous guys. It's his family, and it's scandal after scandal.
Like the family that's running the local pizzeria, I'm sure there's this same jockeying.
There's probably something going on with them
to get the best shifts and to who's getting more tips and who's getting paid what, and dad or mom, whoever's the patriarch or matriarch is gotta they're always trying
probably
to get it.
Hates the father. She probably hates the husband. Told her friend who recorded it, but guess what? Nobody cares.
Yeah. So so my point is in the local pizzeria, it's probably cutthroat in the family, like you just said. You add on to that big business and government, and he's one of the most famous guys in American history.
Yeah, we're not saying it's a walk in the park with what's going on there, but it's definitely there's some animosity apparently, and we'll see if it's all true. Who knows?
Yeah,
we don't know.
I don't know, but I mean, if it is true, to me, if it is true, these are the things that hurt. These are the things that are embarrassing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. But when like again, we talked about her not holding his hand and all that stuff, and you can make excuses for that and this and that. She's on tape saying something bad about him, and it's really bad what she's saying. Like that to me is like, that's when it gets sad. That's a big
shot. That's a hit.
It's sad. Yeah, it's bad. Again, this could be one of another million things of people pumping up just to sell a book, and it's
who knows?
Literally, because I feel like if you have this, you got something massive, you put it out.
Yep. Why even have a book? I mean,
yeah, when you go,
I guess you can't make money off of. You can't really make too much money off of a tape. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a one-time shot with the money. Who
Which
knows?
again,
but a book.
This just shows how crazy this organization is, the Trump organization. Whereas, usually when somebody leaves the White House or whatever, they do write a book, and that's kind of par for the course. This is like the 10th person that's, left and writing a book. Like the amount of people that have left and have written books now, it's kind of like it's out of control.
Has anybody left and written a positive book?
I don't believe so. Bannon, I think, kind of maintained the most positive view. Bannon maintained a positive view of the president. Criticized him for a couple of things.
The guy in jail now?
But the guy who just got arrested. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Criticized him for a couple of things, but Bannon, for the most part, did not turn on him the way other people are.
Maybe Sarah. I don't think Sarah Huckabee Sanders wrote anything, but she left on a positive note.
I think you're right about that too. Yeah. But that's the weird. And who's the other guy who went Dancing with the Stars? He hasn't said any,
Well, when he first what was becoming, I guess, post White House famous.
Yeah.
I think he said some stuff that kind of, like,
It just goes, we can't even remember his name, and it doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. It's the guy on Dancing with the Stars. What the heck is his name?
Yeah, that
Doesn't
famous
matter.
fleeting Sean something. I don't know.
Sean Spicer, right?
That's it.
So when he said, he was like making fun of the fact that he lied about the crowd size at his inauguration. So there's some stuff that I don't think they have.
But here's the thing.
I don't think the White House is too happy with him.
Here's the thing. Out of all the damning things we've heard about this guy, for all these people that are leaving, where's half of this stuff? It doesn't.
Half of what stuff?
It does, like, half of the things that people say about him.
Well, it's still going on, and it's a lot of the stuff is stuff that's he said, she said. You can't prove a lot of this stuff because it's he said this or he's doing this. You can't. While it's still happening, it's hard to. I mean, once you leave the White House, you have zero access.
I know, but you have to admit, there's for all the stuff that you read that supposedly went down during this administration, the amount of people that are leaving and doing their tell-all books to cash in on it. I mean, they haven't even confirmed 5 or 10% of it.
Half of them are in jail. What do you you're talking about? There's so many trials and things going on. Manafort and this guy and that. They're all, either behind bars. Cohen, now Bannon. They're all behind bars. Half of them, and the other half.
But a lot of people aren't. But I'm just saying, for all the he did this or we're hearing he did that, people come out and go, "I'll tell you everything that I saw," and a majority of that stuff isn't in there. Yeah, you got to admit that that's true. Like, a majority of the stuff that's been written about him is not true.
A lot of this stuff, no. What happens is a lot of stuff gets written about, and then by the time it makes any kind of headline, another thing has happened, and it pushes that out of the way. So,
but none of it's ever been confirmed, which fuels his supporters. Which I always tell people that are.
No, I can't say none of it. You can't say none of it has never been confirmed.
You're right, but I always, this is what I always get into with people that are on the left side, is that it's like, so far nothing has stuck. People have made the biggest deal out of things that have not come to fruition, and it makes it worse for when you actually do find the thing that he did wrong. You've cast so much shadow of doubt into people's minds, especially those who support him, that you're not going to be able to get done what you want to get done, which is unseat him.
Because a lot of the stuff that you're talking about, like the stuff that he does wrong, he does in plain sight. He says something stupid or ridiculous, or he passes something that is totally uncalled for. Excuse
me. I've never said anything stupid.
Yeah,
Never.
no, he's a brilliant man.
Coffee, maybe. Okay, but a lot of people tell me that was brilliant.
He didn't even have to say that. He tweeted it like an idiot.
A lot of people tell me we should put that on a hat.
Okay.
And sell it.
And they know, everybody who got it knows what it means. Yeah. Okay.
People keep asking me what show me potato salad is, and we just can't come right out and say it.
No, you got to stick around, and it's got to come up.
You got to
organically.
It's organically. You got to kind of organic. You got it,
right.
And whatever. I hate to cut you off, but we literally have to leave it there.
Oh, good thing, because you'll get me going. And I apologize, to anybody who's offended by anything I had to say. It's my own opinion. I'm not forcing it on anybody. It's just, you heard me talking, and that's my opinion.
Yeah, well, hey, that's what the show is about. We talk about things.
That's all.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't have to agree with me. That's fine.
Yeah, we talk about it. Whether you like it or not, you don't like it or this or that, we talk about it. That's what this is here for. We're using that. What do they call that thing?
Internet?
No.
What? Platform?
Freedom of speech. That's it. That's right. Freedom of speech.
Oh, right.
And also fun. Remember fun?
Fun. That's all we're doing here. We're trying to keep it light, even though we got into a political area there. At the end of the day, we're just trying to make each other laugh for the most part.
I believe I fairly represented a good opposition to you for those people that support the president. I thought
yeah, but you're an idiot, so it doesn't count.
No, good point. It's damning to me, but he is an idiot.
Hit the football.
Huge idiot.
Touchdown.
What? How do I? What show? What channel is this show on?
Look at him. He's sleepy. Sleepy ant. It'll be a total and complete disaster.
I realized that, like, I've been working on my Biden. He's gotta squint. Like he's reading something across the room. That's always, or the sun's in
Does
his
he squint?
eyes. That's it. This is Joe.
We gotta lighten up your hair too, just a little, and lose this.
I'm just happy I still got it. All right. Thanks so much for listening. Like I said, we'll be back Friday, and then Monday special interview episode with Dylan Howard. I believe, unless it'll fall apart. I don't know. Could be.
It'll probably fall apart.
It might fall apart, but that will do Monday. And then we'll all be back from vacation. I'm away for the weekend. Janine's away right now. Frank's not.
I'm always on vacation, baby.
Yeah, that's true. And then we'll come back and we'll recap about vacations and find out what else is going on in the world. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Appreciate the thumbs up on Facebook and YouTube, the subscriptions on Facebook and YouTube. They're really, really wonderful. And
the comments.
Feel
free.
Great. Yeah. Oh, let it out in the comments. I don't have to tell some of you that. Some of you let it out a little bit too much.
Some people, there's no filter in the comments.
Yeah. I was joking around about people that aren't wearing masks, giving them the old Louisville Slugger, and some woman was like, "I would."
Yeah, heard that.
I'll give you one of these, and I was like, "Hey, there's the first one of those threats." Okay, great.
That's
thanks.
a good one. That's one. Damn, you beat me. This one might get me a couple of them.
All right, we will see you next time. AnthonyOnAir.com has all of our links.